what's better for people to stack when it comes to the junk silver. All right, on my way to the coin shop to see what Steve has in the way of silver. Hopefully I don't run over this guy who's jaywalking. He is lucky that I saw him and was paying attention to the road and not to the camera. That guy, that very, very bold move he made just now. Anyway, so I am interested in what Steve has in stock for silver. I might pick up some constitutional, even though I'm not a fan. But the constitutional silver, I'd be buying to flip it primarily. So peace dollars, Morgan dollars, stuff like that. Maybe dimes. I don't know. We'll see. I have been selling circulated stuff on my auctions, which are on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. I've been selling circulated silver for really, really good buy it now prices. So definitely want to tune in for those auctions, because every once in a while I could get stuff from Steve at a really good price, and then I'm able to pass those savings on to you guys. So let's see what Steve has for silver. Specifically, let's see what he has for 90% stuff. I said to you, I'm still bullish on gold. I mean, I like both metals, but I stack gold. I flip silver. But one of the things that I noticed, because I did a video comparing the collectible type of stuff, which you have, and I'm just going to swing over this way, right over here. This type of stuff here, this collectible stuff, to the prices now on constitutional silver, this stuff. That constitutional silver used to be the really affordable, and now you're seeing it caught up.
Yeah, it was really, really cheap not that long ago, and now I remember it was 11-1 just a few years ago.
I know.
And now it's selling at 21, 22 to 1.
The collectability of that silver coin
likely is going to go down.
No, it's going to go up.
I don't know about that.
No, hold on. If you
in the short term.
Okay, so let's talk about Marvel, for example. You don't think that, let's say, 8 years from now, let's just random number, I threw out 8.
Go ahead.
You don't think that 8 or 10 years from now, those Marvel coins will be worth more than an ounce of constitutional silver?
It depends on whether Marvel keeps its in your face or not. If they go away and they fade away, then no. The answer to the question is no.
Well, they're never going to fade away. I mean, they've been around since
Depends on, but people may get tired of the movies. They may get tired of these things, or it might become too mainstream, and people are it's just Marvel, whatever. So a lot of things can happen with that. Where I think with the constitutional silver, everybody knows what it is. Again, it's a store of wealth. It's kind of looked at differently.
But you don't think...
That's my opinion.
So you think... All right, so this is where you and I disagree, because in my opinion, I think if you go 10 years from now, right, the constitutional silver, it's going to be worth whatever, couple of bucks over spot, what dealers are paying and everything. It's going to be worth that. Whereas you have a collectible coin like your display over there, all that stuff, it's still going to be worth double, maybe 1.5 times. My point is you take the same $35. If I were to buy $35 worth of the constitutional silver,
right,
10 years from now, you go to sell it, you're not going to have as much of a return as you would for something in that display case over there. That's what I
would say in general, and maybe that's correct. I would have to go along with that program, right? Because, again, desirability is likely not going to fade that fast. And yes, because it is a Marvel's coin, if you took good care of it,
right,
likely the market will still be there. I have to agree with you in that respect.
The other thing, too, in terms of supply, right, you have a lot less of a mintage of the collectability compared to collectible stuff in comparison. Now, that's not to say don't buy this, right? Because this stuff, I mean, it's still, and when you consider how much it's going for and everything, it's still
I think it's a great buy,
affordable.
To be honest with you. Like I said, I was stacking it when it was 11-1, and I'm pretty happy that I did.
Yeah.
I know my nieces and things like that came into a little bit of cash here and there over the years, and my sister was like, hey, invest this for the kids. When I bought constitutional silver for them, because it was the cheapest thing I could get at the time.
Right.
And they've done very, very well with it. And traditionally, again, it has its peaks and valleys like everything else, but it's done well. It's really done well. To be honest with you, I wish I had $1,000 bag sitting in my safe.
Wait,
I never thought about it. I don't, actually.
Well, then I think we're done here. Yeah, I'm disappointed now. What the heck? No. And now, since we're kind of talking about the junk silver, I tend to I compared the pricing of dimes to quarters to halves if you were to buy it on, let's say, like an online retailer, and the dimes, surprisingly, in terms of like face value, they were cheaper than if you were to buy the same amount of face value in halves. Is that also like a demand issue? Like people like the Benjis or
I really
Kennedys
think
more?
it boils down to just
Or is it the seller?
like the refineries tend to pay
Okay.
more for the halves, and
Okay.
they pay less for the smaller denominations. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why they do that, but
Yeah.
I will tell you that the halves are definitely more respected.
Right.
Maybe it's just because it's a larger quantity.
Do you think also larger quantity in terms of
It's
just...
just a bigger coin. Just
Oh,
more
okay.
That's what I mean.
Also, I think you've got more, in terms of like hobbies, you've got more people like coin roll hunting half dollars than you do
Yeah, I
dimes.
don't know how much of an impact that has on it. I'm
No.
not saying it does or doesn't, but
Yeah.
I really wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't know.
What's better for people to stack when it comes to the junk silver? Should it be anything that they could get that's cheap, or should it be something like, should they stick to dimes mostly, or...
Depends on where your mindset is, right? So why are you stacking in the first place, right? There's not everybody who puts metals away has the same mentality, right? You have your prepper type mentality.
Yeah.
You have your people that are looking for the investment, long-term investment. You have your guys that are just preserving wealth. So it really depends on where's your mind at. Do you think the economy is going to totally go away and maybe one day we'll be trading it again? If that's the case, then dimes and quarters would probably be the way to go. Because if you think about Venezuela, the general thought down there is that an ounce of silver will buy you 6 months worth of food. So an ounce of silver goes a long, long way. So you're gonna want something smaller than that.
Right.
So a realistic way to do that is dimes and quarters.
And you know what, in that aspect of prepping, I would always tell people dimes, and then I would tell them like, Roosevelt dimes, because everybody knows what Roosevelt dime is. The only thing is like the Mercs. At least you don't even have to necessarily look at the dates. Like you just see the Mercury's head on there, and you're just like.
But generally speaking, with the Mercury dimes, they were circulated a lot more heavily.
Worn.
They're worn out.
Yeah.
They're worn out. But on the other hand, too, is that the Mercs have a numismatic quality to them.
So do they go for more than
They
the,
do?
the
Yeah,
Roosevelt
they absolutely
dimes?
do. Yep.
Here's a Merc.
I never send Mercs to the refinery. That I can tell you, because there's no reason for me to. I either sell them over the counter, or else I have other dealers coming in here asking, and they paid the premium on them. So you're always going to do okay with Mercs.
So are Merc dimes better than Roosevelt dimes when it comes to
the resale? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they are.
And then for stacking, then it might be the Roosevelt dimes, just because they have a little bit more.
They're going to have more meat on the bone for sure. That's a fact.
So is that the same? Is that the same thing when it comes to, let's say, like the Walkers and Kennedys?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the other thing.
But again, the Walkers, remember something. They're from 1916 to 1947. So you get into the numismatic end. Some of the Walking Liberty, they're highly sought after.
I mean, they're beautiful. The design.
It's America's favorite coin.
Yeah. Now here. Okay. So now I just pulled out a Benji. Why are Benjis a little bit more sought after than Kennedys? Is it because these?
I think that's simply because some people didn't like Kennedy. To be quite honest with you.
So they're like they like this guy because he was a bit of a playboy.
I don't know if it's because of him.
They like his skullet, they got the mullet thing going on there.
But I do know that some people like to grab the Bens because they're not as circulated as much as the Walking Liberties per se.
Right. I mean, what's your favorite? If you had to say, like, oh man, she took one to the dome there.
She had a rough day.
She took one to the dome.
That's my junk bin right there. That's
this is
all
the
my
junk
culls.
bin?
They're all culls in there.
What's your favorite to stack personally? Like if you were, if you had your $1,000 bag that you said you don't have,
It would be in halves.
Halves.
Yeah.
Kennedys, Benjis, Walkers, mix. What's your?
Just halves.
Just halves. You don't care.
Yeah. I'm not too keen on one or the other.
So now let me ask you another question. You've got the Liberty Walkers. You got the Benjis. You've got the Barbers. I don't think I saw Kennedy in there. Are those the only 4 halves that are constitutional, or are there other coins?
Oh no, they made
that
$half all the way since the early 1800s.
Do you have any others?
Look right here. These obviously.
Those are
the worst one of those will never trade for what just junk silver trades for.
Those are,
because
what are
the
those, cap
numismatic-
busts? Is that what those
Yeah,
things
yeah,
are?
Yep.
The numismatic value of those
it's
is
always
like,
going to be higher. Even for a junky example of those is going to be higher than what you pay. Nobody's going to give you $11 for that. You're out of your mind.
you're not
Just an example of that is
you're-
going to be $11.
You're not going to take $11 for that coin?
No, absolutely not.
I can't give you $11. What
Nope,
the
not
heck
even you.
is this kind of deal? Is this place, man? So, so you think people should be stacking constitutional silver, whether it's for, is it just for prepping? Is it for?
No, I think it's a good investment, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's, the thing is, when you take a Washington quarter, for example, right?
Yeah.
And you throw this in somebody's hand,
Yeah.
they know that it's silver. Like
can
they
feel it.
understand the history behind it. They understand that it's made from the U.S. Mint. The government made it, which some people would view that negative, because they're anti-government. But the fact is that they know that there's strict guidance there, so they know the purity. There's a lot more confidence, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Right. And a lot more confidence than in the fact that there's actual physical metal
Yeah.
in here. That's
It's actually
silver,
got
it's
the right
worth-
purity of metal and that sort of thing. Versus like any outside mint, whatever have you. A lot of people don't know all the little mints and things like that make bullion per se.
So, as you saw in that video with Steve, his preference are the $half. For me personally, I don't have a preference. In fact, I don't stack junk silver. This is, by and large, all I have in the way of junk silver. These $5 coins right here, these were passed down to me from my great-grandparents. But when it comes to this stuff here, this is stuff that's posted on my website for sale, EmpirePreciousMetals.com. I have a bit more on my site, but I don't count that silver as my personal stack. That's stuff that I buy and sell. I'm actually just using it for props purposes right now. But as you can see, I don't really have a lot of it. I don't prefer to stack it. One of the reasons that I used to have a lot more of it was because when I first started getting into stacking, I did kind of buy into the whole what if there's an SHTF situation. However, over the last couple of years, as things kind of develop and change, I developed the opinion that we will not have an SHTF situation that a lot of people within the stacking community believe. I'm not saying that it's out of the complete realm of possibility. There obviously always is a possibility for something to happen, but the likelihood of something where we're trading dimes like this as a form of currency is most likely not going to happen. In my opinion, that's almost like a little bit of a scare tactic or a sales ploy in which people will sell you the constitutional silver in bulk amounts, pitching the whole idea that the sky is going to fall, the economy is going to collapse, and everybody is going to be stocking up on their ammo, their canned foods, and their silver. But again, obviously, you have to stack what's best for you. Stack what makes you feel comfortable and what helps you go to sleep at night. But I don't really stack this stuff. If anything, I do believe in this more than this stuff here, the Silver Eagles, and not even necessarily Silver Eagles per se, but possibly 1 ounce silver coins from other countries. But I don't necessarily think that the junk silver is the best buy, especially right now the way that premiums are. And as you saw in our discussion, you could get this stuff for 22, 23 times face, and so you're going to be spending around $23, $24 just to get a $1 coin like this on average, and $1.40 in face value is equal to a 1 ounce silver coin. And so the case that I have made previously, and again in this video with Steve, is that you're better off buying something that's like a semi-numismatic coin, for example, something like this, or something like this, just as quick example. You'll be spending a couple dollars more to buy a 1 ounce silver coin like this over 1 ounce in constitutional silver. But in the long run, the collectability of these types of coins are going to hold up better. And again, that's just my opinion, just based on what I've seen for the last few years as a reseller of this stuff. But, again, buy what makes you feel good. Buy what you like, and you'll see over time that your collection is also going to evolve and change as your opinions and your beliefs on stacking change. Anyway, comment down below. Let everybody know, what is it that you are stacking, and what is the best type of junk silver that you should be stacking. If anything, I would say go with dimes. But what is it that you're stacking, and what do you think is the best that people should have when it comes to junk silver? And I would like to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't already become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, this is Empire Precious Metals. Until next time, long live the Empire.